It's a very good, I was going to say afternoon, but it's not afternoon. It's early evening because it's 5 o'clock. And it has been a lovely day. Temperatures have gone up. And Sammy Bear likes this. He likes the fact the temperatures have gone up. He's been outside playing. Haven't you, Sammy? Now, I want to say a very special thank you to a very special lady who sent me this wonderful book. Now, this really is a wonderful, wonderful book. I'm just going to sit down here for a moment and show you. So this has been sent to me from Beryl, and I think it's pronounced Bealtaine or Bealtaine, but it really is fantastic. It's the Celtic Tree Calendar poem cycle, and this is all Brenda's own work, and some of the poems in here are fantastic. You know, of all the books that I've read recently, this is the most consuming in terms of just sheer delight. Sheer delight. So, loads of beautiful poetry and writing and just so much. Thank you, Beryl. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, it is available. Look, it is available. There's an ISBN number there. Okay. So you can get that. It's published by Third Eye. I love it. And there's a picture of Beryl on the back. Wow. Can't recommend it highly enough. Do you know that? Celtic Tree Calendar. Fair play to you, Beryl, just for thinking of me, you know, and sending it to me. Because that's a lovely gift to have. Now, Jack's been sitting outside for the past little while because, of course, although it's been raining, he's here in the shelter of the veranda, aren't you, darling? Yes, and he can hear the birdies and watch them. He loves being outside, don't you? Yes, you do. And he's just been sat there by the bench, which I've moved back outside again, because of course there's going to be a lot of visitors next month, being the month of May. Oh, look at all the birds over on the bird feeder. Very important to keep feeding the birds, because the spring has started very slowly and it's been very cold. So they need to have us supporting them, or the people who think kindly towards other creatures, because of course it's our responsibility that they have lost and continue to lose their habitat. So whatever we can do to give Mother Nature, to give Mother Earth a leg up, you know, we should do that. We should do that without even thinking about it. So anyone who says, oh, don't feed the birds because, you know, they become too reliant on food, oh, I can't be bothered listening to that nonsense. Okay, go with your heart. Go with your instinct, with your intuition. If you feel it's right to keep feeding the birds, feed them. I certainly am going to do, right up until the end of this month. Because that will just give them a little bit of compensation for what we've done. Now, I walked around the garden this morning, just the top garden here, with my coffee, and I was amazed at the amount of life that's happening. It's just coming through thick and fast. got these little, tiny little, they're almost like bluebells, but not quite. You can see, look, lots of them. And these are little anemones. Masses of aquilegia coming through everywhere. The bird song is joyous. Of course, they're revelling in this really mild day because it's been really very, very cold recently, and I felt so sorry for the birds that are waiting, you know, to kind of build nests and get the breeding season underway. But they sound very happy today, don't they? Little one up there, look. Yes, bringing all this beautiful song to the gardens. Blessed little creatures. Now, I don't want to go too far afield because I've got my silly shoes on. See, I've been out. I've been up to Manor Hamilton because there was a big boot fair up there, and 3 of my brothers were there, so I thought I'd just drive up and catch up with them to say hello. So Sean and Hugh and Cormac were all there. And it was just nice as well to get out of the house and put on my silly shoes, put on some makeup and head off. So I was out a couple of hours. I haven't been long home. So I've just put some more wood onto the stove to boil the kettle. That's what I'm waiting for at the moment. Just waiting for the kettle to boil. Gosh, there's absolutely masses of celandines coming up down there. And of course you can see the primroses. And even though it's been raining, the ground is drying up fairly rapidly. Of course, with the longer days, you know, you have more light. There's much more light now being cast over the earth. And that just helps everything. It helps the germination of seeds, obviously, and all the little plants that, you know, kept their root systems over the winter. They're all coming back up. All the aquilegia that comes up around the cottage, that actually comes up every single year. I don't plant it. Oh, nearly slipped there. I don't actually plant anything at the moment in terms of aquilegia. In fact, I never did. All that I was ever engaged in was just scattering seeds. And aquilegia, of course, is another name for columbine. Some people call it granny's bonnet. So it has lots of little favourite names. I've seen quite a few bees out, which has been delightful. Because of course I do everything I can to enable the bees to thrive. Now, rather than going up and out of the fairy wood that way, I'll just take a little detour. I'll go through here. Because of course you've got all this beautiful wild carrot coming up now. Those little fern-like green leaves. Look at this, look at this. So there's an absolute mass of bluebells beginning to come up. Now of course just the green leaves are coming up at the moment. But look at all the celandines down there. And the moss. And look who's been following me. Sammy Bear. Little nosy Parker. There's quite a little flow of water coming out from underneath this beautiful ash tree. Of course it's going off in a little drain. And this is where the little fairy door is. And I'll show you. Because of course my friend Davina pointed this out a few weeks ago on Facebook. But there are so many of these horrible plasticky fairy doors being sold on the net. And all they represent is, as she said, and I totally agree with her, is pollution. But in here, of course, look, that's a little natural fairy door down there. And what's happened is all these lords and ladies, that's what they're called. This is the first year that they've actually surrounded the ash tree, and they seem to be marching up and into that little fairy door. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So just climbing up now, up along this bank. You can see all the leaves there from the horse chestnut tree from last year. Of course there's bamboo planted beside the horse chestnut, and they both seem to like each other very much. And then when you look in here, you've got some wonderful shelter. And there's Jack. So I'll just have a little peep down here and see how the drain, the little swale, is doing. To move carefully in my silly shoes or my silly boots. I can't go right up close because there's a bit of mud there. I must get a bit of stone down on top of that. But from what I can see through here, it seems to be running very well indeed. Now, I have had quite a few requests from people who want to visit Bealtaine Cottage, and I have said on Facebook and on Twitter that all the slots for May, 31 of them, are filled. So I would ask you to please honour the fact that I do actually open up each year for visitors. I know all in kind of different ways, but this year it is a whole month. It's 31 days that's going to occupy my time. I cannot possibly go over that. I can't offer more days to visitors. And And I'm saying this because this morning I got a rather sarcastic email from a lady who is living in Ireland. I think she's from France, who was actually quite sarcastic about me saying no. Anyway, never mind. Look, there are people who seem to have the arrogance to assume that I'm just a little old lady sitting here waiting for people to visit. Well, it may surprise you to find out that I'm not. Come on, Jack. Come on. And let me just say this as well, because this is something that's probably not even referred to. Certainly not referred to in permaculture circles, I know that. But what I have put out in terms of information, blogs, videos, photographs and writing, all free on the internet with no advertising, what I've put out there surely must represent the most work put out on the media from one person regarding permaculture. The most work ever. I don't know of anyone else who's putting out that amount of work on their own. And obviously working, the land as well, on their own. So if you think I'm not doing enough, well, what more can I say? I'm flabbergasted. But thank you to all of you, of course, who appreciate the work I do and appreciate the fact that I remain a vibrant presence on social media and a vibrant presence on YouTube and a vibrant presence through my blog, through my website and etc. Thank you to those who appreciate what I do. Oh, and by the way, this person who emailed me, I've actually blocked her now. Absolutely no intention of doing anything other than expecting from someone else. Certainly hadn't bought my book or anything like that. So anyway, there you go. I've got to be honest and say that my time has been freed up a lot since I closed down the comments on YouTube. It's allowed me a lot more time to do what I do. And I shall continue putting out videos. And I hope to get back to my daily posting of videos. I was actually busy yesterday. Very busy because I had to move all that willow. And then there was also a massive amount of work which I've done in the tunnel, which I shall show you hopefully tomorrow. I'm just looking up there now at that very dark sky. Looks like rain. A lot more rain is coming in. seems to be moving in from the west, I think, or the southwest. But then look at those beautiful trees set against the sky, aren't they lovely? Do you know, there's so much to see in the spring. There's just so much happening in terms of the colours and the textures and the sounds and the smells. Now I've got to finish pruning back the buddleia there. I've done most of it, but there's about another 4 big branches there I've got to take off. I had to stop yesterday doing that because the muscles on the tops of my arms really hurt trying to get those loppers around the buddleia and kind of clench them, you know, to cut. It was exhilarating. Now, oh, I need to fix that on there. I don't want little bees and things going in there. I'll have to sort that out. As I've had to kind of cut the back of it in order to fit it in there because that downpipe was so close to the wall, and because it comes through the roof, I didn't want to pull it out too much. Now, there we go. Back onto the veranda. Just beautiful. These little pansies, aren't they lovely? Oh, and this is day 20 of my juice fast. So, feeling great. Managed to lose 22 pounds so far. And just going fantastically well. Day 20 puts me 1/5 of the way through this, so I can't see any problems with the next 80 days because they're just going so fast, you know. So, on that note, blessings to you all. Have a lovely evening wherever you are in the northern hemisphere, and a beautiful morning wherever you are in the southern hemisphere. Blessings.